You know, the schmoles, they freak me out. I mean, they're fun to hunt, but they're kind of freaky looking. 3 Discord mods, 3 incredible builds, and only 2 can advance. This is about to get so intense. Hey, it's VinnyCommit, and I'm back with another Committee Creates Season 2 video. Welcome to episode 5, and today we have something very special. Our first ever 3-way match. Oh my goodness. 3 of our amazing Discord mods have stepped up to compete. Queen Mila, ASHDOWN, Harlequin Law, and KITKAT-ANA. These are the people who help keep our community amazing every single day, and now they're showing off their builds with the exact same shell everyone else started out with. So here's how this works. This is not an elimination match. All 3 builders get to showcase their incredible work, but here's the twist. The top 2 vote getters will get to advance to face each other in a future episode. So when you vote, you're choosing your favorite build, and the 2 most popular will battle it out later in the tournament. It's like getting a bonus episode where we celebrate our mod team's creativity. Now, just a reminder, this will be exhibition only. No one's going to be up for winning a prize. The only prize here is going to be bragging rights, and boy, howdy, are there going to be some bragging rights for this. Before we dive in, drop a comment. Which of our mods do you think has the building skills to match their Discord skills? And if you're not in our Discord yet, links below. These 3 incredible people help make it the most welcoming building community on the platform. Now, what I love about having our mods compete is seeing the exact same attention to detail that they bring to their own builds into this here. Because, like, our mods, as it is, are incredible builders, and just having them, you know, go up against each other, I know is just going to be a powerhouse battle at the end of it. Queen Mila, for one, has helped organize this entire event. A lot of the organization from it, it couldn't have happened without her. Next up, we have Harlequin Law, another one of our fantastic moderators that has just been around for so long. Her dedication to Palia, her ideas that she's brought to the table, and just supporting me and Ellie just has been absolutely fantastic. I'm so excited to see Harlequin's build, and I know you will be too. And our third competitor is KITKAT-ANA. KitKat has brought so much fun and energy to our Discord. It's always a super pleasure to have her around. She's been so supportive, and, you know, very, very early on, she put herself on the map with her TARDIS build, which absolutely blew my mind live on stream, and has just been incredible. What makes this 3-way match so incredible is just to see how all of them come together, and we're going to celebrate all of these builds. We're going to have a lot of fun, and I hope you all enjoy the show. So let's start with Queen Mila's build. As we explore, I want you to think about what makes this build feel uniquely Queen Mila. How you doing today, Queen Mila?
I'm good.
Awesome. Yay! So Queen Mila is a mod for the channel, and she has entered a plot for exhibition only, so we are just here for all the sights and sounds, and Queen Mila, you're my tour guide where we're going.
So this place that I put together is called Writer's Haven.
Ooh.
It started off
Ooh.
I was like, I love books, so we're going to do something to do with books.
Oh, yeah.
It was actually this room over here that got done first. But it just kind of expounded from there, and I was like, okay, well, if we're going to do a little writer's thing, we're going to need munchies, because
oh, yeah.
I know myself. I get in the zone, and I have to be reminded to feed myself, so we have a lovely little cafe here.
Oh, I love how this is done.
With a coffee bar, and in my head, each table is a different feeding area where you can discuss like a specific genre of, like, with the tulips you have romance, with the sunflowers you have sci-fi, that sort of thing.
Oh, well, now I have to know, like, do you already have them assigned? Like, I need to know this.
Well, okay, so I guess we are going to keep the tulips with romance because that just seems appropriate.
Oh, yes.
The sunflowers will be sci-fi.
Yep.
I can't remember what this is called, but my brain is thinking it looks similar to a cacti, so we're going to call this Western.
Nice, perfect.
And then the cotton will be a I guess, Regency period era.
There you go. Oh, that's fantastic. I'll put you on the spot. But it's also kind of neat though, because like, I can imagine that, you know, if you're getting your order taken or something like that, you know, maybe in the back they refer to them as the tulip table instead of like table 1. They're just like, yeah.
Yep.
Short order. Oh, this is so awesome.
Yeah, so I love me my books. My to be read list in real life continues to grow. So that's an ongoing, I don't know if I would call it problem, but situation that I have.
Hey, there you go.
So, lots of books. And it was based off this room that everything else got conceived of. I was like, okay, I want a little sitting / reading nook, and we're gonna build off of that.
I love it. I love the colors that you chose in here, and it totally has a vibe.
Yeah, it started with the reds, and it just worked for everything else. And I was like, this just looks so lovely.
I've seen a lot of people that have like taken kind of the monochromatic approach, but they used that to their advantage to make some pops of color. And in your case, totally think you pulled that off too.
Thank you. So this is kind of like a sequestered writing area where you can choose a desk and be away from distractions, because I know that I get in the writing mood, but also internet is distractions, so you sometimes have to say, nope.
Gotta sequester yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. No internet. And so it's just kind of like, well, we don't have internet in Palia, so to speak, but this is their equivalent of getting away from whatever that might be.
Yeah, totally. Must be nice though, you know?
Uh-huh.
And now my technocore brain is thinking, or rather I should say my technobabble brain is like thinking, it's like, how would Wi-Fi be transmitted? It'd be transmitted probably with flow. Anyways.
With flow, yeah. Given that flow is now outlawed, we will not speculate further.
Hey, there you go.
Because we don't want to get taken by the order.
Exactly.
So then out here is more of kind of like a cozy 2-for seating with some tea and scones and little cakes of just enjoying the outdoors and just being able to sit down and chat.
Yeah. I love that. It's a wonderful, wonderful, cozy little space too. It looks like your fox, your Kitsu, is totally owning. Just like keeping the embers, keeping the embers warm. Yeah, I feel like this would be such a really neat place out here that would have like a variety of games and snacks and small plates and like, I don't know, there's something about like, okay, let me know in the comments, do y'all go to coffee shops and like, you know, get the actual ceramic coffee mugs when you order coffee? Because I always feel like that's so fancy. It's like I've never really ordered that too much. Usually ends up in a paper cup and I have to down it before it's done. But you know, I always kind of get envious of people that, you know, they have their coffees in the ceramic cup. I need to do that sometime. Sounds good. I feel like this would be a place like that. That's kind of where I was going with that. It's like you'd have your
Be fun.
Your coffee mug with you and a book or snacks, petite fives.
Yeah, I don't do that, but I do have my coffee mugs at home for that, and I have a couple of favorites that I use on the weekends.
Hey, your weekend mugs. Y'all have any fun mugs? We have some fun mugs as well. We probably have too many fun mugs, if I'm being honest.
There's no such thing as too many mugs.
I know. There's such a thing as too many dishes, though.
That's known, but never, ever too many mugs.
Definitely. Well, let's sit down for some Q&A, which is one of my favorite parts. So one of the favorite things that I like to do during these tours is Q&A, and the reason for that is because there's such a really special thing about the human connection behind, you know, the things that you see in Palia. It's like you go to the tour board, anybody can go to the tour board, but when you sit down with somebody, you get them on voice, you get to hear a lot of the process behind it, you get to hear a lot of the inspiration behind it, and you know, in just a short amount of time, you've got to learn quite a lot about Queen Mila. You got to learn a lot about the design language that she used in Palia to communicate the fact that she enjoys writing, and she painted a picture with these items that otherwise would just kind of be arbitrary, right? So, you know, one of the things that I like to do in these tours is to kind of show people that it's more than just items in a game that are, you know, placed down almost haphazardly. They're actually placed with intention, with thought, with purpose, and Queen Mila is no different. You told us a little bit about yourself, Queen Mila. Can you tell me, and you also kind of hinted at this as well, tell me a little bit about like where you got the inspiration from for this particular plot.
So, as I've said, or might have hinted at, I am very much a writer and a reader. And so that was kind of the direction that I wanted to go when I put together this plot of, I didn't have a grand design when I started, but I knew I wanted at least one wall with a bookshelf that I was going to build rather than using one of the in-game bookshelves.
Right.
It just kind of evolved from there.
So I think it's important to point that out because, like, you know, this segues into my next question. What you described is like a really good, like, core part of the design. And the reason why I asked this, and the reason why I'm going to ask the second question, is to kind of help people out. Like, one of the unique things about this build contest is that it's a pure vanilla challenge. Like, there's no glitching allowed. But everybody out there at some point struggles with design. And understanding all of these different creators, their process in terms of, you know, how do I get inspiration? How do I take that inspiration and put it into something concrete and actually iterate on an idea and create a vision? Well, she brings up a really good point, which is she took a little bit of her life, her passion of writing and reading, and she started out with making a bookshelf. And from that very simple design, and I don't mean to minimize like simple, just like the simple concept of just starting out with, okay, bookshelf, like literally just one word, bookshelf. And then taking that, and the entire plot just kind of grew around that. And I think that's like fascinating and just fantastic. My next question though is like, once you kind of had that concept, how do you plan out a build, or how do you kind of like implement those designs? Because I know some people like to sketch, some people like to just kind of iterate on different items. Like, do you start with like some items and just kind of like feel out for what works and what doesn't, or what's a little bit of your process like?
So it is kind of just grabbing items and seeing if they would work. I mean, like, I had an idea that I wanted some couches in the room with the bookshelves, and so I was like, okay, do I want one of the fancier ones, like with the Bellflower set or the Dragon Tide set? And I was like, no, the industrial set one works perfectly well, but I don't want it in that base color, so we're going to try this one. And the couch was actually what made the entire rest of the plot the warm colors that it is. Yeah. Which I didn't expect, and then it just happened, and I was like, oh, okay. That was a happy accident. And so once I had the bookshelf room all situated, I was like, okay, what else do I want? I was like, I had toyed with the idea of maybe including like a little cafe. And so I did some iterations on how to fit that in, and came up with what you saw of, I decided I actually wanted to use the stove and the oven that the game gives us that actually can cook and bake in, rather than just using like the Paltech stuff with the stones to make like a fake stove and oven, I guess.
Right.
And then I was, as I mentioned, I was like, oh, when I write, sometimes I need to like actually just say, okay, we're gonna have no internet for an hour, and we're just gonna write, and whatever comes out of that is what comes out of that. And so I was like, okay, I want an area that is dedicated just for like writing, and so I need the desks. And Zeki's machine is not kind to me. I don't have enough of the Valley Sunrise desk from that set. So we went with the investigator's desk.
Which it works. It works really well for it.
Yeah. And then this outside, I was like, okay, I want a patio. We're still going to go with the patio. But I wanted like a little cozy thing of like with tea and treats. And so that's how this area got conceived.
I love it. Absolutely love it. And I like to, like I said, I like to dive in a little bit to the process too, because, you know, once people maybe have an idea or maybe they can kind of get started, sometimes it can be challenging to just to iterate and how, like, I think it's just important to hear like how these ideas come together and come to fruition, and hearing that thought process around it. In my opinion, I think just teaches a lot about how these things come to fruition, because you've been on a tour board. Maybe you've seen some things in person. Maybe you've seen somebody's build on a different stream or video or something like that. And you're just left wondering, like, how? Like, you can see what it is. You're like, oh, this is amazing. But when you get somebody on voice and you kind of get to, you know, do what we're doing right now, you get to learn how they did it. You get to learn why they did it. And just, there's so many gaps that kind of fill in from that. And my last question doesn't necessarily apply to you, because, you know, what I've been asking other people is, because you are a mod and, you know, your plot is exhibition only, you don't have to worry about the hardest question of this, you know, Q&A session, which is like, why should people vote for your plot? You don't got to worry about it. However, I do have a question for you.
Okay.
So, with this particular contest, we started off with a shell challenge, and I've pointed this out in other videos where this one, most people are used to using, like, you know, large rooms, but this particular shell challenge in general starts with the harvest house, which is the same size as a large room. Then we step down to a medium room and then a small room. How did you feel navigating that progressively restrictive space?
It actually worked out marvelously with how my layout ended up. I knew with the fireplace being where it was, I could not do a wall of books there, or I probably could have, but it would have been tricky with the no glitching rule.
Yeah.
And I wasn't going to bother attempting with that. When I knew I could very easily do one in the next room over.
Yep.
And so I did that, and then just the layout from there just kind of happened, and it was serendipitously the perfect size.
Yeah, it worked out really well. Queen Mila, thank you so much for sharing this build with us. Now let's see what Harlequin brought for us today. Remember, we're looking for that same positive energy all throughout. I am here with Harlequin Law, and she is a badass. I'll tell you why. First off, she is a moderator for my channel. As a moderator, we are doing an exhibition type of presentation today, which means that we are just going to be enjoying it. This won't be a plot that we're going to be voting on. However, there's a lot of lovely things that we're going to look at. And Harlequin, as a professional tour guide, a Palian tour guide, is going to show us around. So, how's it going, Harlequin? How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Awesome. I am meeting expectations. So let's read this sign here. Committee creates the challenges now. Decorate this shell and make it wow. Vanilla build, no cheats in sight. Top-notch design, pure skill and might. A mod showcase of an Elderwood design. Join our Discord for more info on this challenge. Yes, definitely. We have a lot of really good challenges, build challenges that we do every other couple of weeks and every month. Just kind of keep people busy, and they are fantastic. So Harlequin, as you are a veteran at this, you're my tour guide. Where are we going?
All right, we'll head around the outside first.
Sweet.
Thought it was a nice idea to work on some of the new plants and flowers and...
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. The new stuff really has just transformed people's plots. You got a little plushie showcase here too. Money Frog. I just... You know, the schmoles, they freak me out. I mean, they're fun to hunt, but they're kind of freaky looking.
They are. My game was glitched one day, and the area where they were at, you could see them, but you couldn't see the rocks.
Oh, that's
so
terrifying.
When they were sticking their heads up, you could see their little feet dangling on the other side of the hole.
Oh, Singularity 6, always keeping us on our toes and terrifying us, giving us nightmares.
Well, I was like, that's a nice little addition, because there was no reason for us to be able to see feet. Like, we should never need to see the feet.
Nope, I never need to see the feet. You need to be properly defeated. So, one of the cool things about this particular challenge, this contest anyways, is that everyone's working off of the same shell. And as I've seen, and as you've seen likely by now, there's so many different ways to do this, even if everyone is restricted to the same layout. And to me, one of the fascinating things as we're perusing and checking out all of these wonderful additions and just gathering all kinds of inspiration is one of the fun things about this particular shell, this particular design, is that it starts with the harvest house, then it goes to a medium room and then a small room. So you begin to get even more restricted in terms of your space. Because most people, what they do is they typically will have, maximize the amount of space that they have to put stuff, like large rooms. I don't really see too often people using the smaller form of rooms, but this one in particular is unique in the fact that you have like a reduced amount of space as it just kind of tapers down, and I'm loving it. So let's go check it out, Harlequin. Tell us all about it. All right.
Well, our first room is basically like kitchen, dining area, little kind of like sitting area, reading nook. It's nice to try
gorgeous.
To work all of these different areas of a house into one room.
Yeah.
It's a nice little challenge.
Yeah, it is. It is. And I the feedback that I've gotten from people that are so used to using those special tricks that we affectionately call glitching, aka Technicore, it's kind of felt a little refreshing to go back to your roots, so to speak, of designing in vanilla.
Yeah, it's nice to see now what we can do with the items that we've got and what works and what says, no, I'm not doing this today, so.
Oh, yeah, tell me about this room. You got it real framed in.
Well, since we got all that nice beef furniture from the Twitch drops and stuff, I decided that it needed to be in this room. So I added all of it in.
I love the colors that you have mixed. It's, a little bit of earth tones. You got some cool colors in here. Little pops of warm color, warm lighting, and I love just, I don't know. You always do some really impressive stuff. It just it all blends so well. Like you got all your colors just coming together in a nice little medley.
Yeah, well, it's nice when our color options work, and especially with the green pink group. As long as the pink doesn't come out, then they work much nicer than when you're forced to work with the pink.
That's true. It's a good point. Like all of the colors just kind of work together. But I still think that there's a lot of element of you putting them together in the combinations and stuff that work really well. And the lighting in here. It's such a cozy little space.
Well, I wanted to make sure that I tried to use all of the new furniture. And then, there's never enough bathroom furniture. So I'm like, what can I use from the other things to make this bathroom not look like it's very empty?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then, like usual,
spoken like true cluttercore.
Yeah, you come in with your base pieces of things, and then you're like, okay, but this wall's empty, so now I need to add something to it, and then move on to the next wall and add something to it, and look at it for a week and decide if it's done or not.
Oh yeah.
Change the rug 5 times, and
yeah, it makes a lot of sense, like when you say it that way. And I think there's a lot of people out there that they look at a plot and it just, I don't know, you look at it, and I'm sure just being the fact that this is a particular contest, right? And, leading up to the point of when you submitted it, after you submitted it, to me, I feel like everything in here has an expiration date. Like you look at it and you're just like, you've been there for too long in that place. I got to move you around. Or if you're not sure what to do with it, you're just like, not today, plushie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Or like with a small piece and you're like, okay, can you just get a little bit closer or a little bit further away from this? Or
yeah, absolutely. But it's super cozy, just kind of how everything is all mixed and put together. Let's go.
And I like it to look like, some Palian actually lives here.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Like that's a common theme, I think, with Cluttercore particularly, is like you want it to feel like somebody had been there. Somebody had sat down in the chair a little bit too fast and it scooted ever so slightly. You want it to feel lived in, because otherwise it can feel very empty, stale even. But You know, it's kind of like you are using the design language of Palia to tell a story. Like you can tell that somebody just came there and they're making a pizza or something like that.
If only they would introduce dirty dishes. Could you imagine?
Wow. That is the most cluttercore thing I've heard all week long. We just need dirty dishes. All right. I'll let them know. I'll pass it up through my channels. Singularity 6. Harlequin wants some dirty dishes. To really get that lived in feel, we need piles of laundry and all of the chores that we're neglecting while we're playing Palia.
Yeah, well, like I have a basket in here, which would be my laundry basket, but we have no clothes, so it's empty. And I couldn't come up with anything to just put in it, so I'm like, okay, it's just going to be empty. All my laundry's done for the week, so.
Must be nice. Too awesome. Well, I think it's time for some Q&A. Okay, so real talk here. One of my favorite things to do is sit down with all of these creators and get to know them a little bit better. By definition, you get to know them a little bit better. I've toured hundreds and hundreds of Palia homes, just like this one. Just like I'm touring with Harlequin right now, sitting down and chatting with her. And, you know, there's something very special about getting to know the person that's on the other end of the screen. And I've met some really cool people. Harlequin is no exception. Because when you're on the tour board and you're just looking at homes, you're just like, that's cool. But when you get to know a little bit about like the person that did it and the reason why they did it, you understand that context and you're able to, in my opinion, gain so much out of it. So, Harlequin, this design was, you know, a little bit of a challenge in terms that you had to build vanilla. You had to work with a framework. What was your inspiration for this plot?
Well, I just really like the small house shell option. Most of my houses are very small, 3 or 4 rooms, and just having to work within that confinement, I guess, is something that I like to do. And then, you know, we got all this brand new Elderwood stuff, and it just seemed like a good time to throw things together. And unlike the other contestants, I don't have to worry about winning. So
that's a whole relief offer. You're just like, I'm just doing this for funsies.
Yep. I get to do all the fun parts, and I don't have to worry about actually, you know, being a competitor this time. So
yeah, that's right. Because those of you who may not know, Harlequin was a pioneer, one of the first people to participate in season 1 of Committee Creates. And that was absolutely nuts. Like 3.5 hours of recording. You had time limits, and you had you didn't have control over the items as you know, that you got to use to decorate with. And oh man, but that was such a good time. Well,
it was fun.
This actually is a good opportunity because, you know, I'm sitting down and I'm interviewing all the contestants and asking them a little bit of the same questions, but this actually gives me a unique opportunity to ask you something a little bit different. So, as you were a participant in the first Committee Create Season 1, which will be a link in the description, by the way, if you want to check it out, how do you feel, even though, you know, you don't have to worry about the competition side of things, how do you feel this season is going to go compared to, like, you know, being being in the first season, you got to experience that for the, you know, in real time, and you got to see that, and then participating in this one.
I think things are going to go good. Like, the first season was, you know, an experiment to see how things would work.
Definitely.
And this one, I think some people liked the idea more of it being limited to their plot and having a little bit more of a spread out time frame than having to devote a day to participating.
Yes.
And I think, you know, the two options could possibly even lead to a different, you know, a third new option for the next season.
That's true.
I'm not sure what, but I'm sure we could combine it somehow.
Yes, right? Yeah, that would be even wilder. Just like imagining what a season 3 would look like. Hey, those of you who are watching right now, I want to know what you think in the comments. Like, what would be a good concept for season 3? That's a good one to noodle on. So typically I've been asking people, you know, as the last question, what would, you know, why should they vote for their plot? You don't got to worry about that, though. So I will ask you, though, a good fun one, which is, you spent a lot of time on this, and, you know, to me, one of the things that's really fascinating about the level of creativity that comes out of the committee, and especially just our own mod squad, of course, you being included, I like to let people know a little bit about the process. And to me, that's always very fascinating, because if you are just now starting Palia, or if you've played Palia for a little bit, the process always gets people hung up as to how do I get started, or how do I start, you know, decorating, and you see these homes that just, even the most talented builders feel small. But Harlequin, tell us a little bit about your process. Like, how do you plan to design? How do you iterate?
Really, it's just a matter of an idea coming from, you know, looking at other people's houses, or just seeing what we get to work with every month.
Mm-hmm. Are you a screenshot taker or a note taker?
Not really. Like, maybe writing down somebody's username and then going back and looking at it on the tour board. Mm-hmm. Just to get a second idea and a closer look, and be like, okay, is this something I can actually implement, or is this just my pipe dream that I would like somebody else to do on my plot?
Yeah.
But most of the time, like, when the Grand Harvest House came out, everybody was so excited about having a second floor, and then we were, you know, a lot of us were very disappointed that it wasn't a full floor. So I was like, okay, well, I bought this house and it's not what I want, so what am I going to do with it? And then that turned into my wedding event plot. Mm-hmm. So the entire plot, you know, revolved around the house not being what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
And then one of my other plots has all of the seasons on it, because at the time, a lot of people were doing, like, when the autumn terrain came out, people were like, oh, I'm going to do an autumn plot. And I'm like, that would be cool, but I'd rather do all the seasons instead of just one. So
That tells you everything you need to know about Harlequin. She goes hard.
Yeah, like the challenge where we had to pick a core and I did all of them because one just seemed like not enough.
Yeah, so that's... I had a build challenge, and I've identified 4 different design cores, right? You probably heard about them by now. Clutter core, collect the core, practice core, and clean core. And the challenge is like, with her being clutter core, it's building in a core adjacent, or building in a style that is the opposite core. And she's like, no, hold my choppa. I'm going to do all of them, including my own. And oh my gosh, did you actually deliver that? I was thoroughly impressed. Like to the book. It was very cool. So it tells you a lot about Harlequin. It also tells you a lot about the group known as Palian Tour Guides. They are some of the most creative, hardcore, sweet people you'll ever come in contact with. But at the same time, they are also very, very modest and humble, and they just love what they do. Thank you, Harlequin.
Yeah. Glad you got to make it out here.
Yes, right? I know. It's awesome. And now for KitKat-ANA's build, it's time to see how she brought everything to the table and just get ready to be wowed. Absolutely. I am here with KitKat-ANA. She has wanted to give us a plot to take a look at in the contest, so that means that we are here for funsies. Won't have to worry about voting on it, which is, I'm sure, a relief.
It's definitely a relief.
But we're gonna go see a pretty thing, and well, KitKat, you're my tour guide. I'm following you. Where are we going?
Alrighty. Well, there is a sign right here, so you get to read the sign first.
Ooh, yes.
I'll tell you a little bit about the plot before we go in.
What if Barbie lived in Palia? Ooh, nice.
And here we go.
Awesome. I'm always impressed whenever I'm going to plots, like the requirement of keeping your camera low. You cannot, and I repeat, you cannot do anything else if you know you're going to a cluttercore plot. You know, it's just the way of the world. I love it. Oh, I love how this is set up.
Alrighty. And actually, I'll let you go in first.
Okay.
Never mind. It's Barbie's house.
Barbie's house. Oh, yes. Yes. Okay, so I'm taking a little pan around here, looking at the fireplace. Already off the bat, the color schemes are just fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. I love everything. Tell me everything. Tell me about this.
Well, when I started doing the plot, I built the shell and I was trying to think what to do. And I was thinking of things that I haven't used before, colors, items, and I settled on pink. And I asked myself that question, what if Barbie lived in Palia?
Oh,
so that's where I came up with this.
I absolutely love everything about this. The layout, the placement, the colors. I feel like I'm living in my favorite ice cream ever, which is rainbow sherbet.
This matches perfectly then.
Oh, I know. It really does. I love the different orientations and everything that you have on the books. And it's like, I know it drives people crazy, and I know that there's ways of having the books like rotated in different ways, but the fact that, you know, you still have the books kind of put in, it looks like they've been shuffled around. So like the fact that you're able to do that all in vanilla is really cool. It's really cool.
And this is not a fully functional kitchen. Can't actually cook anything in here, but I'm kind of obsessed with it.
I love it. I love it though. You know that I know as far as like the practical nature of kitchens go in Palia, I get it. I understand, you want it to be functional, but at the same time, it's just like, I mean, we're kind of limited in that regard that it's like you can't really make a design that you like without having to include all of the pieces. And the pieces, if I may be so bold, they're not exactly the best looking thing. I wish we had more furniture sets that functioned as like cooking pieces. Oh,
exactly. We would love that.
I'm just in awe. I'm looking around at all the different things. I have not seen that crystal piece yet, and that's awesome.
What piece? Oh, the hanging from the window.
Yes.
Yes, that's one of the new sets that have come out. So
I love this. I love that you use these archways for this bed. That is such a clever idea.
And it's funny because I forgot they existed until we got them in the mail, and I went, I will use those. So I made another one, and there they sit.
It's wonderful. It's wonderful. I'm going to check out this room in here now too. One of the things I loved about seeing the different interpretations of this shell is one thing that's always kind of brought like a mental smile is how many slippers I see. I see so many slippers. And it just...
You have to have slippers.
You have to have slippers. But it's such a lovely little detail that, I don't know, it just kind of makes my brain smile. And I'm just kind of taking in all the different angles. Think about everything, Come around the corner, what do you see? Yep, you gotta see a toilet. That's there. I love the design of this bathroom.
I didn't want to go totally pink, so I'm like, maroon. That's kind of a pinkish color, so that's what we went with.
Hey, that works out. That works out beautifully, honestly. This is very well laid out, and one of the things I like to point out to you all is, as you're looking through these homes, don't just look at the big picture, right? Because I look around in different angles, and you might see little furniture pieces, but like look closely at a lot of the different pieces of furniture that are used, the items that are used, the angles that they're used, and specifically the wallpapers and the floors, kind of how they all come together. They all come together as one solid thing that makes everything that you see here. That will forever be fascinating to me.
That's the goal, and I thought I was going to have a really hard time with pink as so prominent, but surprisingly, it came together really quickly.
Yeah, like one of the things that I've learned too is when you have a common color, it almost functions like a neutral color, and you can add little pops of things there. So it's always kind of neat to see people implement that. And ooh, look at this! What a view! What a view! So tell me about this outside area.
Just a place to relax. Got a little fire pit over here. Did a little less pink out here, more of the green, and added some white. This was
wonderful.
What's left of my museum, because I started it and just never finished it. So I'm like, well, they had been sitting on this plot, so I'm like, we'll use it as part of the decor. So
absolutely lovely. Like, you have multiple different angles that you're considering. You have lovely little seating out here. Like, you kind of have like a two-tiered thing. You got your view seating. Like, this is kind of where you would hang out with friends and talk about all the things that are going on down in the valley. You don't got to worry about it.
Yeah, I love this plot. I think this is the same plot I used for the TARDIS build, so that was kind of nice.
Yeah. You know, now that I think about it with this landscape, okay, there's the town. I was like, I see the lake down there, and it kind of makes me wonder if it was if it flooded the town. I don't know. They changed the water, I think, in one of the recent updates. But This is absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
Get another look at all the different angles, and I'll take a little lap around the house too, because I think we covered the inside of the shell too, but the outside of the shell, in my opinion, is just as important, because there's a lot of little details that you'll see when you look at it from different angles. And the walkway leading up to it was absolutely gorgeous too, kind of how you framed out this wonderful meandering sightline that just kind of whisks you away and beckons you to this design. And I do like to take a little lapse to kind of show, like, there's so much intent. There's a lot of intent here when it comes to the choices that were made and where flowers are located out in particular places.
Yeah, and I knew it wasn't part of the shell, but I'm like, well, I'd like an entrance, so.
Hey, I mean, that's, what is it? Curb appeal, right? That's always a thing.
Curb appeal.
Yeah. I like to do Q&A personally, because, I've said this like a broken record, but I still like to reiterate it. Like, when you go to the tour board, you miss out on a lot of things. You miss out on a lot of context. Like, you can see a pretty build and you're like, oh, that's cool. But when you start to realize that everything that you see on that plot, you might see it week by week, but that plot could have taken months to put together. Lot of grinding, a lot of placement and doubt and fear and all kinds of emotions. But like, you see just one part of it, and that's just what you see in front of you, the face value, if you will. But to me, one of the most valuable things is to get the person on chat, like on voice chat, and get to hear their side of it, because then you get to hear the story, you get to hear the how and the why, those parts of it, and those have a lot of value. Like, you get to kind of understand that there's a human on the other end of the screen that put all this together, and maybe they're emulating parts of their life, and maybe they have, there's a lot of story to tell. Well, that's kind of my first question for you, KitKat, is like, where'd you get the inspiration for the Barbie plot? Like,
it's weird because sometimes things just I instantly know this is what I'm going to do. This plot being vanilla, I knew I couldn't do any glitching at all.
Yeah.
So I was looking for a story to tell. I'm like, okay. And for some reason, when I said pink was the color I was going to go with, I'm like, well, it has to be Barbie then. So then things started to come very quickly together. I think it was maybe a little over a week and a half, and this was done. So
that's awesome.
But then there's sometimes I have an idea and it will take me a full month, and I maybe will not be able to get through it. So it all depends. And
I think
that's the story of this one.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that you mentioned that, because like there's value in knowing about the process, and to some people it comes to them immediately. The idea comes to them immediately. To some people, like, I have build challenges, not outside of this contest. I have themed build challenges, and sometimes people have the idea and they're able to just like start day one, starting to like, build it out and everything. Some people, planning is like 80% of it, and then it all comes together in like the last 20%. And I'm a little curious, like, And the reason why I asked this question is because people that are struggling to get something together, to get something going, or they look at a tour board, and oftentimes like the most talented builders that we have in Palia, and I've seen my lion's share of talent. You and I both know this. The most talented people in Palia can still feel small when they're looking at things, and they can get stuck. So I think it's important to know like process. Like, so you had the idea of pink. Pink led to the idea of Barbie, right? You got the idea. How do you how do you implement it? Like, are you kind of a sketch type of person? Do you kind of put things down and fill it out? Like, tell me about like the process of how this came together.
Well, it started with the house. The house color took the longest time, the house and the walls. The outside, the inside, just getting the right amount. I wanted it to be obvious that this is what I was trying to do, that the house would be pink, and my sign outside says it's a Barbie house. But trying to find the right mix so it wasn't like, oh, just everything is pink and it has no story to it. That came next. I do a lot of putting stuff down depending on the build. Like for the monthly challenge that we have coming up, I did do a small sketch, but it was just so I could, in order to do like the landscaping, I needed to know where the the main part of it was going to be, and how to get through it. So anything that has a larger scale, I'll do a quick sketch, and it's strictly for my eyes only. Nobody, you wouldn't be able to recognize the things that are on there, but it's just so that I have an idea of where I'm going.
Yeah.
And then I just start placing stuff down.
That's cool. That's cool.
Very hands-on that way.
Yeah. So once you have kind of like the general idea, do you take more of an iterative approach, or do you already have the vision in mind and you just kind of put it, put things into place?
Once I have the idea, I usually know where everything is going. I see a lot of it in my head. I don't sketch it out. I see the ending and then have to backtrack and figure out how to get to where I need to be. So you'll see, like on previous challenge, the main thing, that is usually the first thing being built, whether it's in the back of the plot, different part of the story, end of the story. That's the thing, and then everything else gets built up around it in order to, showcase the thing. So
that's really cool. Like I said, it's important to know like that kind of process, because it's one thing to see like the thing that you're looking at, you're like, oh, this is really cool, but you're just like, how? Well, that's how. It's like you start with like a foundational idea, and then everything else just kind of starts falling into place out of like around it. And I just think that's cool to understand. Well, my last question is typically contest related, but because you're a mod, you don't have to worry about this one. You don't have to worry about votes or anything like that.
Right.
So I like to kind of ask, like a different question. The question I typically would have been asking is, why would people vote for your plot? You don't have to worry about that. But what I can ask though is, you've seen a lot of the build challenges, from your perspective as a mod. We have this contest, which is based off of a shell challenge. Being the fact that you're a very talented builder and you're working off of this shell, given like the, I guess, assignment or the prompt of, working with this shell, like, how do you feel that this went compared to, other types of build challenges? You also are, a very talented Technicore glitch builder. So how did you navigate this particular vanilla challenge?
Well, I took it as a challenge. I mean, it's after you get used to doing things a certain way, and you're like, oh, well, I will just, maneuver this to do this, and you have a whole set of steps. You take all of that way, and you just need to be, you get back to just being creative. It's like the very first house that you built in Palia. I still have that house, and I won't change it. It holds a special place. It's my first time building anything. There are a few things on the outskirts that, like out-of-bound builds and things like that. But it's nice to get back to the basics and just create without having to worry about how you're going to do it. Just placing down items and making them coordinate if that's what you want to do. Having a story there that keeps people engaged, even though you're not showing them this crazy build where things are floating in the sky, or things that you had to put together in a certain way that isn't just...
It becomes less about the technical ability and more about the design, right?
Exactly. And I found it was challenging for people to do, but I feel like once you embrace that and you say, okay, well, this is what I need to do, then you're opening up something that you maybe haven't done in a while, and that's actually nice.
I know you're probably no stranger to this, and I've gotten a lot of really good feedback about it too. One fun thing that I pointed out is the fact that this particular shell has a gradually restrictive space. I see commonly people work with the harvest house or the grand harvest house and the large rooms to kind of maximize the space that they have to work with. But this particular shell challenge, it starts with the harvest house, which is the equivalent of a large room. Then it works its way to a medium room and then a small room. Did you find that particularly challenging to kind of have less and less space to work with?
I actually enjoy that. I've done a few harvest house challenges on my own, where everything is in just the one room. So this actually is more spread out than I've been used to. And it makes you think a different way. How do you get everything in there and actually make it work and make it look like it's a functional space where someone can live? And I actually enjoyed this amount of space. Had a lot of fun with it and trying to make interesting areas to look at and
totally
make it feel like it was lived in. So that's always my goal.
I think you did a fantastic job, KitKat. Thank you so much for showing us this. Now that was an incredible showcase, okay? 3 of our Discord mods completely duking it out, completely 3 different approaches to the exact same shell. Now you get to decide which 2 advance to face each other. Now, just a reminder how this works. You're going to vote for your favorite build using the Google form. The top 2 vote getters will advance. They'll compete each other in a future episode. And the winner of that match continues in the main tournament. Every mod build is going to be exhibition only. It's just going to be for bragging rights. I hope you all have a wonderful show. Voting closes next Thursday at 11:59 p.m. Central Time. That is 11:59 Central Time on Thursday. That gives you plenty of time to think about these 3 amazing builds. And then after that, we're back with episode 6, where we have a peaceful writer's retreat with a family cottage by the sea. Don't forget to join our Discord if you haven't already. Come hang out with Queen Mila, Harlequin, and KitKat. Tell them hello when they're not busy building incredible paleo homes or grinding. And also, thanks for watching. Remember, your vote determines which of our 2 mods gets to battle it out in a future episode. I'll see you next Friday at 7 p.m. Central Time. Until next time, take care. Bye-bye.